Hey, how's it going, all you lovely people at Shut Door Shutter, coming back to you with a brand new episode of Craftoria, and today we have, nope, not the wrong backpack, let me put this one up here. We have some things, and I'm not sure how well this is gonna go, because I've never done this. When I'm messing with Modern Industrialization, take everything I say with a grain of salt, because I have no idea what I'm doing. But we have an advanced large steam boiler. So I've kind of just been looking through this quest log, trying to check out and see what we need. And one of the biggest things that we need is this right here, this electric quarry. There's also a steam quarry, which is down here. And this is a fantastic option for, of course, when you're very beginning. But I was able to kind of skip through that and go to electric. Of course, we're going to need power to do this, and we're also going to need to look at getting drill heads. One of the things I guess we could look at real quick, because that's the only thing I haven't really investigated, is the drills. Um, so we've got bronze. Well, I want to look at the actual outputs here rather than anything else. So we could get redstone, iron, coal, gold. Not too many good things. What do we got for this one? So we can actually get water from a oil drilling rig. We can just get some normal blocks. That's not really that important to me. This is nether drops. So you get like a 0.2 chance. So 5% chance of it being made. Okay. Now we don't have access to stainless steel. This one would give us diamonds and emeralds and lapis and black quartz. And of course, if you look at these other ones, by the way, you'll see they're rarer ores. Even the aluminum. Oh no, the aluminum is crude oil. So we'll have to look at this one down the line. Okay. So I'm not 100% sure, but we're going to try this and we're going to go with it. So we're going to make the large, advanced large steam boiler here. And I think I need to put down some hatches here. So we're going to do input hatch, fluid output hatch, I think it goes in this corner. And then input hatch goes here. Okay. And of course, if you don't know how this is constructed, just hold your wrench, by the way. That is how I learned how to do this. Okay. So that is golden. And I just need to put this piece right there. Alright, so what we're going to try and do here is get this to pipe out of the front. So we're going to do this, auto eject, and then on the side here, we're going to make sure we auto pull, and I think there's other fuels you can use with this too. Advanced steam, there we go. From what I was looking at, there's like fluids you can actually use rather than coal and stuff if you wanted to. I'm not 100% sure how this would function. I would assume instead of doing the item input hatch, we just do a fluid input hatch and a fluid input hatch. But I don't know if you still need water. No idea. We actually could. This is just normal modern industrialization, so we should be able to take a look. Let's see. Steam boiler. Large steam boiler. This large steam boiler is an upgraded version. Smaller bronze and steel boilers. Uses fuel 8 times faster, but it produces 256 millibuckets per tick of steam when fully heated. Unlike its single counterpart, and the large steam boiler, 80% of the unconsumed heat will be lost. This means the ratio of energy produced by fuel consumed will drastically decrease when the output decreases below maximum. This will happen when the boiler is not used consistently at maximum output. So are these actually that useful then? If they're losing output, upgrade those large steam boilers already. This advanced version can quadruple the steam production. That's a little taller. Okay, so this doesn't tell me anything. And this doesn't tell me anything. Better multi-blocks. Let's look at this. This advanced version can produce up to 1024 millibuckets of steam. Okay. So, not a whole lot of information. I would assume it still gives us loss at the end of the day then. Okay. I don't know if this is going to be useful or not, but we're going to use it. And what we're going to do with this is we're actually going to try and add a large tank in front of here. Let's just set it here. And I think this actually needs to go up one. Yes. Okay. And we are then going to build this thing. I think I forgot to get a steel fluid input hatch. There we go. Okay, so I need the tank hatch, not this thing. Okay. I cannot use these. That is fine. I just did not know. What is this? Is this saying I need a piece of glass here? And I think these can actually be made bigger. I'm just not really needing a bigger one. So we shall see. Casing. I need like a few more pieces. Okay. Alrighty, so I've also went ahead and got a second large tank hatch. Because I think this is where we output fluids, right? This is where we can pull from, I hope. And then this is where we would input from. And this is just going to hold our steam, right? I just wanted a buffer. I thought this would be cool to look at this. This only stores, what is that? 1,000, probably 1,000 buckets? Is that what that is? Yeah, oh yeah, I forgot about this. You can actually adjust how the block is supposed to look and everything. Cool, okay. Because I've got some steam turbines that I want to hook up. And these are MV, they're not the LV that we have upstairs. So that is another thing to note. I think we could probably send this off to the races, right? This shouldn't be a problem. Like if we were just to activate this. We did get some coal coke blocks from this quest. We got a stack of them, by the way. So if I actually look up coke, I should be able to take, like, let's say 4 of them. And that should start producing steam. And okay, so yes, you can see it's all transmitting. It's all going over this direction. This is fantastic. And then once these fill up, you should see this starting to fill up. Now these have 32 buckets of capacity, so that's a pretty big thing. And this definitely does burn through quite a bit of fuel. So this stores up to 1,728 buckets, which is fantastic. And we are going to kind of move on to the next portion of this. So we want to make the electric quarry. So the electric quarry is going to be something we're going to experiment with, because I'm not 100% sure how to do this either. I have done this in the past. It's been a minute. Okay, so we need to bring this down to ground level. And then we just build it. Okay. And then, of course, we want to have our hatch, or energy hatch, which is right here, this MV input hatch. We want that placed locally to the actual steam turbines. And then we'll do the item output hatches and everything here in a second. Oh, did I not go up high enough? I did not. Oop. That looks a little funny. Okay. And then, of course, we're going to want to do the item input hatch and the item output hatch. I think I'm going to put the input hatch here, because I think I'm going to try and do maybe an ender chest system, and that'll be okay. All right, so we have that all set. So I'm going to set this to auto pull, set this to auto eject, and we're going to grab a barrel. Okay. And then from there, we could actually just grab a couple stack upgrades. Okay, 2 stack upgrades, that should work. And then now we just need to get the drills and the power ran to this. So I've got Electrum cable. Oh, I need to set this to output on this side. That's what I'm missing. Okay. And that should start this. Of course, we don't have any drills in here, so it's not like it's going to work. We would need to get any kind of drill. And I think for this example, we're going to go with a steel drill bit. Let's get the recipe for this in place. We'll have to look at iron gears. Okay. So I will have to get this processed. Okay, let me get this made up, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, so we have just got a handful of drills here. So I just went 16 drills. So we're going to pop these into this barrel. And we're going to hear some lovely MI sounds. And I think I'm going to have to set another anchor here because I'm too far down. There we go. So this should start producing ores sooner or later. It's going to take a minute. So you can see. I do like how we do have like a progress meter. It is pretty nice. And of course, once you just let it process over and over and over and over again, it'll keep building up efficiency, which means it'll go faster. So one thing that I do like that they have mentioned, where is it at? Right here. There is talking about doing more than one output hatch, especially if you're using steel output hatches for the quarry. The steel input and output hatches only handle 2 items. This handles 4. So I may lose some every so often, but I have a more guarantee to get multiple items without destroying them, right? So just keep that in mind. A bigger output hatch or multiple output hatches is going to be beneficial. And I do like they've mentioned that because I did not know that originally. So just some good stuff. Okay. I'm going to actually grab 16 more of these steel drills. And most likely what we're going to do is we're going to set up multiple of these quarries and just have different drills inputted into them. One of the biggest problems, of course, is getting these drills, right? I will need to figure out a better way to obtain drills. Because right now, if I were to just auto-craft these upstairs, that would make everything backfill, right? As I said, we have this efficiency meter that will have to be depleted all of the way after the recipe that's already in there is completed. So you kind of have to wait probably about 5 seconds, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more, depending on if you have overclocks and things like that, or upgrades in this case. And some of these do upstairs, but of course that makes more efficiency bar, like the efficiency bar go up more, which means that it has to drop down more. I'm thinking the best way to do something like this is to kind of figure out if we can get these processes more automated. One thing I want to do is I want to get paper automatically put over here. And I'm thinking the best way to do that is most likely ender chest or running a cable all the way over here and doing an import bus, which I'm not opposed to because at the end of the day I think that might be better. We don't have access to wireless connection points, right? We actually do. We actually could utilize these. So what I should now be able to do is set... I mean, realistically, I could get rid of this whole thing. But for now, I'm just going to set this right here. We don't need many channels. So I'm going to then set this right here. So I'm just right-clicking on that one originally, then right-clicking on this one, and then we're going to do import. Or is it export? Export. Not import. Do I not have the... I don't have this in the system? Okay. Whatever. So I probably want to import and import. I want to import coal. And we're just going to do that. And then paper. Import into the chest, export out of the system. Okay. Acceleration cards. Man, we are completely out of diamonds. That's a big yikes. I will need to get more. I was working on that off camera, but the problem is I just need to get an episode going. Okay, real quick reconfiguration. We're actually just going to do it this way. And then that way we put in, let's see, rubber sheets. Say 5,000. And we toggle this to be emit when levels are below limit. And that should keep everything offline. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a cable down here as well. And, of course, we're going to want to grab a couple imports. So I don't have to maintain this. That's kind of what I'm trying to get at here. If I don't have to maintain this, then I can kind of just let this go. And not really have to worry about rubber sheets. Okay, so we're going to say coal blocks. So once they get out of coal blocks is when we don't really care. Okay. So that should not be sending anything. This should be basically seizing once all of these machines are full. Because we're not sending any more coal in. And I'm actually going to take the coal that's in here out. Same thing with the paper. Okay. So that is rubber sheets taken care of. I also did forget to mention that I have set up the coke oven and this electric blast furnace to be craftable. Like, you can just put in what you need. And this, of course, will give you coke out of this. And, of course, we have a coke dust recipe for the macerator. But this can give us silicone. I haven't set it for aluminum yet. But overall, I think we're doing okay with some of this stuff. Let's go check on this. Okay, so we're down 2 drills, and we really didn't get a whole lot of stuff. I have been working on a bit of chaos here. This is a little madness that I have been trying to figure out, and now we have Apotheosis Bosses Underground, apparently, too. Anyway, I have automated analog circuits. This is an interesting process, because at the end of the day, I've never done something like this. So this is kind of, I was experimenting. It's why I didn't record this. I don't usually do this, but I've actually been working off camera to get some of this stuff figured out for drills. Because, of course, we're going to need them. We're not going to just use one electric quarry. We're going to use multiple in the future. But basically, what this process will do is it will make each individual piece of an analog circuit, right? So, if we look at the recipe, you can see... Let me actually just pick one up here. So the recipe is this. So I've got a lot of the individual components over on this left side. And what I've done is I've just basically made a line for each individual portion that we needed to craft. Cool? So, you know, copper wire, fine copper wire, analog circuit boards, all of these start from basically plates, go into plates to copper wire, plates to copper wire to fine copper wire, and then, of course, here, plates to then analog circuit boards, and then rubber sheets are coming from our system. And then, of course, we've got capacitors, which do have gold plates on the bottom, and then the assembler to do capacitors here, and those then. And then we've got copper plates, and I actually didn't update this sign. We have inductors. I think I spelled that right. Inductors. Yep. Okay. Yeah, so this is just copper wire and steel rods. And then, of course, here you've got coal dust. And then here you've got resistors. This is one of those things where doing an assembler is actually better overall than the actual normal crafting recipe, because we get 3 here and we have to use paper as well. With the assembler, you just use fine copper wire and coal dust to make 12 resistors. Very good stuff to know. And then here we're making steel rods. Of course, I've just made lubricant here just so that way it's much easier and localized. The next thing, of course, is the analog circuit, which is in an assembler doing this recipe here, which is a little bit more expensive than the default, but we do end up getting 3 instead of just 1. And I think this is technically doubled, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, it looks like some pieces are doubled and some are... No, everything's doubled. We just get one extra. So instead of getting two, we're getting three. And then, of course, it comes out the end here. And then this process is just me making steel, which, of course, the enriching factory takes coal in and then pushes it out to both of these infusing factories. And then, of course, once iron's in here, it becomes the enriched iron, and then enriched iron then becomes the steel dust. And then that steel dust is then smelted and then put in this drawer. And of course, I may want to try and push it over to this portion, but I'm actually not certain about that yet because I will need to do a lot more. A lot of the resources we're going to be using are going to come from these electric quarries. We just don't have the one that's producing things like copper and coal. Let's actually check that out real quick. So the one we would need, let's see, where is... So we need the bronze drill to actually get copper, and iron and coal, and redstone even, and gold. Okay. So this is probably going to be the next quarry we do, because this is the one that's going to basically give us the actual resources to do everything else. Or, well, really just kickstart this whole process, because, of course, we are not running anything right now. Everything you see in these drawers was manually put in by me. So that, I guess, is going to be the next portion of this, is getting the kind of, I would say, probably flip this whole design on this other side. I think we could fit that. Let's actually check that real quick. Measurement. That is 10 blocks. Let's actually go out further. Hold on. That is 14 blocks. And I think I started probably a couple away from the wall, right? Yes, couple away from the wall. So 1, 2 here. So I could feed it all into the same barrel. If I do the exact same spacing and everything, I can fit one other quarry and advanced steam boiler, tank, and MV steam turbines over on this side. Okay. All right. Well, that is the plan. Modern industrialization is going to be slow. I'm going to say that now. This is going to be something I want to attempt on camera, building a system like this. But honestly, this took hours. Mostly because we don't have the proper crafting setup upstairs, the single individual machines. That's really not helping us. As much as I would say it is helping me because I don't have to craft it myself, the biggest problem, of course, is the efficiency bar and also these machines, especially these, because these are in the system now. They are slow. This is the one that makes silicone and also the aluminum. So we are kind of waiting for this to process every so often, and that takes a long time. Once we get a higher tier, of course, that's going to change, but we just don't have that tier. And then, of course, every machine has its own efficiency bar. So if we're doing, copper wire, 10 wire, and that's going to be finish the copper wire, the efficiency bar has to go down, and then we push in 10. And usually whenever we do copper wire, it's like 600 for like one machine. So it's ridiculous. But anyway, a little bit more stuff. We are actually kind of just progressing around the base. I've been just looking at a couple things, trying to figure out some better methods of getting the digital miners to get us more resources so we can actually complete the electric quarry. Because actually we were completely out of iron again. I just restocked, and it's actually currently in the process of restocking because it is processing downstairs. So yeah, we are also needing a ton of copper because we're going to do that with MI, and this is going to be a good jump start. So yes, good stuff all around. We are processing. Another thing with the digital miners is I went ahead and progressed a little further in Power to get an ender cell. This is something we will talk about and actually do for our main system later down the line. Right now, this is not a priority to talk about, but ender cell does exist, and several... I think this is... I don't even know how many this actually is at the end of the day, because I kind of forgot to count. 11. So we have 22 blazing generators here, and these are, of course, all for the... digital miners. I had 2 running. One for redstone and diamonds and emeralds and things of that nature. But one is currently running. I think that thing pulled about 70,000 ore, and it's still processing, which is actually still kind of crazy. But yeah, we are cruising. I don't know, man. I'm sure the modern industrialization is definitely gonna take a lot out of me, but we'll be okay. So yeah, you can see we've got quite a bit of ore. I've been pulling out of it and processing it. As you can see, that's what that dirt is from. Is me breaking it down, which is the most effective way for most of it, of course, besides redstone ore. So yeah, this is fun. We also have a villager trading hall. I did forget to mention. This is just a place to keep the villagers for now, and this will allow for us to kind of get some fortune and stuff of that sort. I basically pulled the villagers we already had from the teleports, and I've placed them over here. I haven't really added too many. I think I've added 3. There was a 4th, but I accidentally killed him with the reflect when an apotheosis guy hit me. Then I walked in here, and it proceeded to do the reflect necklace, which I actually have taken off since then, so that way I don't actually kill him. But yeah, we've got that area figured out. Also, we have obsidian plates, which I do forget these exist. But this is a framed obsidian plate, so we don't have player plates in this pack, which is a fantastic mod. I wish we had it in here because I could actually just make normal obsidian plates. But these are actually only player activated. They cannot be activated by hostile mobs or mobs in general. It's very cool, very fantastic. So, with that being said, I think we're going to wrap this one up here. I know this episode was kind of a little bit lackluster. We definitely have a lot to figure out. This is going to take some time to kind of get automated, and this was for the steel drill. And I don't really think my priority is going to be the steel drill. I probably need to get the bronze drill first. So I might swap this over to being the bronze portion rather than the other one. And I think, is the bronze one able to get me 10? It is. So that way we could actually work on getting bronze as well. So we'd use the 10 and the copper that we get. And these have a 30-20 chance. Kind of surprised that copper has less chance of being produced than the 10. But those two would allow for us to, of course, automate bronze. And that would be fantastic. And I don't think... Let's see. So this is... Yeah, not too bad. And that's not terrible. Some iron gears. Okay. And we would, of course, get iron from that. So the only thing I need to do is probably get this pushed over to here to get this portion actually filled with steel rods. And then that way, this would basically automate the actual... Actually, this one doesn't require analog circuits. So this process, these two pieces are probably going to be for the other drills. Well, this one is purely going to be, the cheapest. Not too crazy. I think we need some copper plates, right? Or these bronze? I can't remember. Okay, so some bronze, some copper. And we'll do soldering alloy, which is 10 and lead dust. Do we get lead from this by any chance? No, it does not look like it. Where do we get lead from? Lead comes from... What in the world? I can put an electric miner in here? That's interesting. Huh. Why would I be able to do that? Are these mechanism ores? No, they're not. I mean, kind of, because they technically all go under mechanism besides the diamond. Interesting. Let's actually quickly take a peek at the electric quarry here real quick. So, of course, lead comes from the steel drill. But digital miner, man, that is a strange one. Guess if we wanted a higher chance of getting things like diamonds, we could definitely do that. Does osmium not come from any of these other ones? Is that why we're doing that? Where's the bronze drill? Oh, it's over here. Okay. No, osmium comes from that. Interesting. All right. So I will look at this in the future. I'm going to probably keep building up our components to make these drills off camera. I'm, of course, avoiding AE2 because at the end of the day, if we do AE2 auto crafting, We could technically do it if I stick with the kind of system I have downstairs. But doing it this way would basically impede us completely, because then we'd have drills being made upstairs and being unable to make anything else. So, with that being said, I think we're golden. I think we will be back next episode. And I definitely could use AE2 here to kind of fill all of this with copper and gold and stuff, and have limiters and things of that sort on it as well. So that way we're not just overflowing the entire system with, just basically running out of gold and copper. I mean, these drawers only support 2000, right? I'm not going to upgrade these anymore. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Stay awesome, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.